Big fat regrets. Who are the characters I regret farming the most in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes? We're going to talk about it today, and we brought in a special guest, the Grand Admiral of the Galactic Empire here. Go ahead and punch it, Chewie.
Do it! Do it! Yeah, that's the turn, Chewie. Make the turn! There we go.
Oh, man, we got Arnold here. Oh, I'm not showing him on screen. Here we go. Bring him in. There he is. What's up, Arnold? How you doing?
I'm doing great, although you missed out on a couple of titles and my lovely intro there is directed a video game division here at the Galactic Empire, and then home of the comic book moment 25A for one extra day of partying hard, where the polygons are beyond your basic comprehension. I mean, there's a couple more titles, but I'll spare you the details from there.
I think you said that once or twice. I mean, I think that you flipped
twice
into like hyper speed speech there.
Oh man, Eminem copied me when he does his fast rapping. He learns from me. I don't want to brag that much.
So we gotta have a rap god version of Grand Admiral, Arnold here.
That's how you gotta do it. When we answer the phones here, we gotta make sure we recite that in less than 2 seconds. That's the goal.
Okay, so next time we do a video together, Arnold and I'm gonna drop a sick beat and I'm gonna have him introduce himself.
It's gotta have air horns though.
All right, so we got 2 videos for you guys today. One here, one over on Arnold's channel. And we are talking about 5 characters each that we regret, or Zetas that we regret investing in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And so I'm going to go first. I'm going to share my 5. We have not collaborated on what these are. There may be carryover, there may not be carryover. So here's my first one. Spicy pick for you, Arnold. Beskar Mando.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah.
Now,
okay, we're gonna be twinsies.
I hope that this changes. I hope that this changes and we get a character that makes me love this guy. And don't get me wrong, he's got a good squad. There's a place for him. But for a journey character, I mean, I'm talking like CLS is way better than him in my opinion, and he's the first journey character.
The old Mando is better than this character.
Yeah, because he's got the instant annihilate. I think whistling birds is good. The damage immunity is good, but I gotta let my dog out. Oh my gosh. Mid-video, dog barking.
Professional YouTuber.
Professional. But anyway, I'm just disappointed that he's not on a higher level.
Yeah, we were hoping that the armor was going to be kind of like that Malik for the Beskar Mando when we first saw her being announced in December. Didn't turn out to be the case, and I'm in the same way here. I'll preface this. Depending on where you are in Galaxy of Heroes, this character could be a bit better. Like, I know, for example, a lot of new players, they're chasing at the Beskar Mando, and he could be an all right beginning legendary character, but I would much rather have a Darth Revan or a Jedi Knight Revan over this guy, both which are also journey characters, as well as Commander Luke Skywalker. The most I can get out of him is a Grievous counter or a Padme counter, but for someone like me and probably you, we got plenty of other ways to counter those teams. I want to hope and believe there's another character around the corner for a character of this magnitude. We're still waiting for the season 2 Mandalorian characters, so there's still hope to be had. But yeah, right now I'm with you, man. Just not a character I've been excited for, and he just seems kind of like a pushover.
Yep. 100%. All right. So we kind of agree on that. Sounds like we might have a spoiler for Arnold's list.
Right.
All right. So next up on the list, here's a spicy pick for you, Arnold. We have got Mon Mothman. Now, I understand. Okay. I understand she's needed for a legend. Obviously, she's necessary to farm. I don't regret farming her for those reasons. I regret jumping in there right away, day one, blitzing her, spending all the money to get her, and then she wasn't even that great of a character. She's not a top 10 grand arena team. I'm putting her on defense. She never gets holds. I don't know why I'm putting her on defense anymore. I feel like she's a waste.
I gotta say, I'm surprised to see her on your list, but I do understand your concerns. I recently made the decision to never put her on Grand Arena defense again, because every single time it was a maximum banner win, or it was easy Jawa food, or it's easy for Trey, Imperial Troopers, Bounty Hunters, Jedi training. It was just, I just put a policy in. I'm done giving maximum banners for with my Mon
policy
Mothman
for the Empire.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I mean, she creates some fun compositions and teams. She could be useful in Geonosis territory battles. I was hoping she'd be at least as viable as Geonosians, but I feel like Geonosians definitely have that better edge over her for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I could see where you're coming from. I don't regret her, but I do not use her a lot. It's just more occasional use in a GOTB, or once in a while use as a cleanup crew, but she's never in my offensive plans. All right, we're going to use her to counter X, Y, or Z teams. There's some fun combos out there. Like I like Cassian, K2. I really love Pow and Hawthorne Scout. There's fun combos to make a good, decent team. Maybe for lower divisions that struggle with people of Geonosians, maybe that's where Mon Mothman's going to shine a bit more, who don't have Jawas, who don't have Treyas. Maybe again, lower divisions, they might get a better use of it. But I think for people like you and me that are playing in that Division 1, that whatever, that's Division 1, such a big thing. But in Division 1, Mon Mothman might not be as much of a headache.
Division 1A through Z.
Yeah, they gotta break up the divisions. There's too much being conglomerated in there.
100%. So okay, good. Yeah, so I think we're kind of on the same page with Mon Mothma. Maybe you wouldn't say it's a regret, but it's maybe a disappointment with what her use in the game is. I feel like she deserves more.
That's the only thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Here's the good thing about the Rebels and the Rebel fighters is it's so easy to just throw in another Rebel, and that could completely change the ball game. So because of how versatile she is with all these Rebel fighters, like there is really no bad Rebel fighter team I've seen. They're all decent here or there. But if you just add one more new Rebel fighter at some point, which I could definitely see them adding some more original trilogy stuff at some point, that this character could become more of a Geonosian plus type of team. But right now it's just, I see her getting it. She's not.
There's just so many other teams that were here before her that are better.
Exactly.
That's what disappoints me about this.
The best juice I get out of her in 5v5 is to clean up a solo Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. That's the best juice I get out of her.
Here's a spicy pick for you.
Oh man, your list is gonna be way spicier than mine. I know where you're going here. Go for it, man.
HK is not the best fifth for Darth Revan team. Sith Marauder is.
And I've been getting a lot of questions about that. Like, why don't they use HK anymore? But I think you're going to explain it here in a moment.
Yeah, I mean, Sith Marauder, he's got the damage. You put the double tank in there with Sith Trooper, and that's all you need. HK-47 is just not doing as much damage, I think, as to make up for the difference of having Sith Marauder in there. I mean, HK, he's got a good AoE. If he gets primed, he throws the grenades at the right time, he could do some good things. But I think that pales in comparison to what the saber throw from Sith Marauder does in a Sith Empire team. And I regret. This might be my biggest true regret on this list.
Really?
I really regret going for HK instead of Sith Marauder. I wish I would have diverted my resources to Sith Marauder.
I think maybe context is important here, because I mean, HK-47 was the first go-to, and Darth Revan was the meta. Were you on top of the Darth Revan meta right away?
I was there immediately. Yep.
So I mean, maybe nowadays, HK-47's. I mean, he's still a good character with him, but I much prefer Sith Marauder with the Sith Trooper. All top guilds that I fight against, I rarely ever see HK-47 being used. But again, context is important. If you're someone a bit lower in divisions, HK-47 is going to be fantastic. But here at the top game, things change. It's kind of like this conversation I had. People ask, why don't I use Yoda and Jedi Knight Revan? It's like, we don't really use Yoda of Jedi Knight Revan anymore. Jedi Knight Revan's being used for Galactic Legends. So metas are different depending where you're on the game. But overall, if you're talking endgame, HK-47 has kind of fallen out of favor. But I don't know, when we make a regret list, do we regret things that were great at one time but just not are used as much anymore today? It's hard to say. You've gotten use out of him in the past, but nowadays he's just collecting rust, I suppose.
Maybe it's a bit of a hindsight is 2020 kind of thing, but I also feel like at the beginning of the Darth Revan meta, Sith Marauder was a good choice. I think people did lean towards HK-47. I feel like a lot of that may have been just that HK had been in the game longer, and so when choosing between the two, it was easy for people to lean towards HK-47. But Sith Marauder was there. That whole comp was there. As soon as Malak was there, Sith Marauder was available, and that same comp that exists now in the game was there. I think it took us a little bit to realize that the better option is Sith Marauder. Also, I think part of what changed the game too was relics. And when Darth Revan first hit, we didn't have relics.
Possibly. I mean, there's a couple ways to look at it. Back then when Darth Revan came out, Jedi were the buzz. That's what Darth Revan was meant to kill off. and HK-47 was very helpful. Nowadays, when you
Anti-Jedi.
go up
Yeah, that's
against,
a good point.
yeah, you're not. People aren't really using Jedi anymore. I mean, I used to use Jedi Revan as a counter all the time to Darth Revan. Nowadays, it's Darth Vader, General Anakin Skywalker, Galactic Legend, Solo. So the meta has changed in terms of Darth Revan counters. I think that's part of the reason why HK-47 is just not used anymore. Is that the meta has slowly evolved and Jedi are not really used as much. You could still use Jedi, but it's actually, I'm scared using my Jedi Knight Revan up against HK because HK-47 will get that AoE off, and you gotta clench your butts when it happens. But more often than not, I agree with you. Yeah, HK-47 is just not as useful because he's just too slow. At least Sith Marauder, when you use Imperial Troopers or Bounty Hunters, there's a lot of attacks on a turn, and Sith Marauder gets juiced up, and more often than not, he'll be the first one to take a turn. And sometimes he'll hit so hard where a death mark gets triggered right away. And then when Darth Revan comes in, it could be game over. So that's why we see Sith Marauder over HK-47, I think, nowadays.
Sith Marauder definitely makes me clench my butt cheeks more than HK
Oh,
does.
man, you just don't know what he's about to throw at you, man. And he can be slow. The best part about just high offense and crit damage or whatever, slow mods, and the bonus Terminator will just feed his the speed that he needs.
There you go. All right, next up, Ezra Bridger.
I mean, talk to me. What's going on here? What's going on? Let me hear this.
He just sucks. Maybe this is because I don't have him at Relics, but I've just never been satisfied with Ezra Bridger's impact in a battle. I mean, it's nice that he calls an assist. Okay. It's nice that he's got Dispel. I've got the Zeta on Flourish. This might be the Zeta I regret.
It could be that,
I've never seen him deal enough damage to make his way into one of my premier Jedi teams. I've got so many Jedi, and anytime I use Ezra, he's basically filler.
I can understand what you're getting at. I think I might have Ezra at Relic, but yeah, I'm not using him all that much. The most use out of him is in 3v3 Grandarin, I'll do Bastila Shan lead, Ayla Sakura, and Ezra, and there's just a lot of attacks on a turn happening there. Yeah. It's not a god tier team by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, he's not fantastic. The Zeta might be part of it, maybe because you don't have him at Relic and solid crit damage or offense mods. You're not seeing his full damage potential. He can hit hard, but there's a lot of other Jedi I would rather have over him. Man, that Zeta on Flourish, oof, that's a little steep. I've seen people that do like it, but by no means is he used in a Premier Jedi team. Maybe leftover for something, but I don't know if I want to use him against General Grievous to Jedi Knight Revan, if I had to pull out Yoda.
No. And the thing is obviously I don't have him at Relics, so maybe my perspective needs to see him at Relics in my roster before I could make a fair analysis. But I've felt this way since I took him to Gear 12, which was way back before Relics were a thing, before Gear 13 was a thing. And I just have never really and I even put one of the Gear 12 Plus pieces on him. Just never really felt like he was adding much to my Jedi teams. I only ever use him in sticky situations where I just don't have a better Jedi to use.
I mean, there's only so many battles in Grand Arena you're going to play, and ideally you want to one-shot all those battles. And when you just think of your one-shot plan, Ezra Bridger is probably not up there on top. I mean, there are so many other great Jedi to form, two, possibly, maybe a third Jedi team out there. And yeah, Ezra Bridger just... I wouldn't use them unless I was just like, all right, we got to start digging at the bottom of the barrel to get a cleanup going. Otherwise, a bit lackluster, but definitely the best out of the Phoenix characters that you could use. I see there's a fan club around Ezra, but by no means would I jump for joy if I got him the Relics.
If he was I'll put it this way. If he was sitting at Gear 1 in my roster right now, I would not cry.
Yeah, I totally understand.
I wouldn't cry.
You're not missing out on too much.
Yeah. All right, last one on the list. Are you ready for this?
Let's see it.
Pow! Now, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Let's see it.
Okay?
All right.
This is a personal thing. I'm not saying that POW has no use in the game. And I should say, this whole list is not these characters have no use. This is just my personal regrets.
Yeah. Look at your weaknesses in your roster.
I got really excited when Mon Mothma hit, and I said, I want my Mon Mothma to be good. I got her at 7 stars. I got her at Relics. I want to have a good Rebel fighter team. And I jumped on POW and dumped a lot of resources into POW to take him from, I think he was at Gear 8 maybe, all the way to Gear 12. And I don't use my Rebel fighters.
That's it. Only gear 12, man. My stream made me put the Zeta on him and get him the Relic 5, man.
Yeah, and again, maybe if I took him all the way, but I didn't take him all the way, so I regret it. I regret investing the resources in him, using those gear pieces to take him to gear 12, and then he sits on my bench. I literally never do anything with this guy.
Yeah, here's the thing. Again, we're in Division 1, so it's kind of like if you don't have a character at gear 13, you're just not really going to use them much. Yeah. Again, I think it goes back to our conversation with you calling out Mon Mothman, saying how you kind of regret her. You kind of need a good POW to form a good and a honorable scout for the constant turbine on the basic. Yeah, they piggyback on each other. And again, at the end of the day, you got to ask them, all right, how good is this team? If this team was at least able to consistently beat, like I look at it when I test out teams, like at the minimum, I want you to be a Geonosian team or a Grievous team. Like that's like the minimum I look for out of brand new characters and teams. And Mon Mothma really struggles against General Grievous. So it just kind of comes down to what are you going to use this team for? It's not a defensive team if people have the right counters for it. At lower divisions, it could be used. But if you're gearing a POW and then you're in Division 4 or 5, okay, you're either a super POW fan, you don't care about the game, I don't know, but there's just better things to gear up. So he's great in the Mon Mothma lineup, but again, I only really kind of use him in like a Geonosis territory battle. So there hasn't been really anything else too great with them, unless you really want to challenge and do challenge tier 3 with them. It might take you a while, but other than that, yeah, POW, he's a fun character. He's not garbage like he used to be, but yeah, just you're not getting much use out of him.
Yep.
Hey, he's got some use.
Again, for me, this is one of the most colossal wastes of resources I have dropped for how much I use it.
At least you stopped at gear 12.
Yeah, eventually maybe I'll get up there, maybe I'll find use for POW, maybe I won't regret it, but for now, it was completely worthless for me to take this guy to gear 12, but it was an impulse buy. It was an impulse buy.
I get it. Yeah. I've had plenty of those myself. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, especially with the Rebel fighters, you need high gear and relics on them because they all share their stats and damage and survivability to one another. And obviously, the lower gear your team is, you're going to get just less viability out of the Rebel fighters. And even in the end, for me, I have all these guys at relics. It's like I'm not using them for much in Grand Arena territories. They're more of a backup plan, and occasionally if I need to, a Geonosis territorial team, but I don't really use it. But there are some people that don't have a lot of Galactic Legends and they do rely on Mon Mothma and the Rebel fighters. They are probably one of the best non-legendary teams for light side Geo to be outside of Shakti and the clones. So it's still an important team, especially for people that don't have Jedi Master Luke or Rey, I think. But other than that, it just depends. It depends. For us, I get what you're talking about because I don't use Mon Mothma much for Grand Arena or Territory Wars myself.
Yeah. I put her on defense, and I question if I should. She's just a filler. She's giving me the banners for placing the team and giving my opponent the banners for beating her every time. It's just I don't think I've ever seen a hold. So anyway,
I got a hold when they're brand new characters. No one knew how to deal with them. Continue.
That's it. So, all right, this video's not over, guys. We got a second half over on Arnold's channel. I'll drop a link down below. Go over, step into his Star Destroyer. He's beckoning to you. We're gonna drop. He's gonna drop a rap right now. Okay, here we go. He's gonna drop right now. Okay, I'll give you a beat.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the D, C, G, and A. Get over here, you losers today.